And because you're a political nerd, and I'm a political nerd, you watched at least part of the GOP debate last night. Even if you just caught the highlights today, that counts. You watched the GOP debate last night. Now, before we get into all the specifics of the GOP and the debate and the moderators and this and that, let's just talk about a hard truth right off the bat here. Here's the state of the GOP primary. It's not complicated. That debate last night only mattered for Ron DeSantis, because Ron DeSantis is the only one with a prayer at coming back to defeat Donald Trump in a primary, and that prayer is a long one. Right now, Donald Trump is in the driver's seat, and it's going to take a long, well-fought, well-funded campaign by only Ron DeSantis to defeat him if he's going to be defeated. So the point of having a debate with all these losers on the stage, as far as the GOP primary goes, it's kind of pointless. None of these people are going to do anything, but political nerds like you and me, we watch and we analyze, and we can take some things away from it. One of the things it's impossible to avoid is this Russia-Ukraine thing. And here's what happens. And I am someone, I should tell you this right now. I have lived in Washington, D.C., only for a year, so don't judge me. But when I got done losing 2 congressional races, not to brag, I moved to D.C. because I wanted to stay in politics for a year. So I got to know D.C. and got to know people and the area. And to say D.C. is out of touch, it undersells just how separated they are from you and from me, which I find so weird, because the people who are there, the elected representatives at least, the House, the Senate, they do leave D.C. often, and they will go back home. And the good ones, the smart ones, will go back home and they will talk to normal people so they can figure out what people care about, what's on their mind. The Russia-Ukraine thing I find to be so fascinating. Not just the conflict itself, and I'm not even emotionally invested, really, one side or the other, I don't really care. I find it to be so fascinating because it has put on display for all of America how separate both political parties are from what we care about, from what we talk about. It's mind-bending to watch Democrats and Republicans at the top talk endlessly about Russia, Ukraine this and Russia, Ukraine that. I don't know about you. I hang out with normal people. I don't hang out with political people or media people when I'm not on the air. I hang out with normal people. I've not had a single conversation, not one, about Russia, Ukraine. It never comes up, ever. People will talk border and taxes and scandals and this and that. Russia, Ukraine never comes up. Yet, these Republicans, they can't help themselves.
And 90% of the resources that we send over to Ukraine is guaranteed. It's a loan. It is not 90% of the money that we send over there is loan. Well, we can talk about this, but at the end of the day, 90% of the money that we send over there is actually in the form of a loan. It's not actually not be paid by Ukraine. It's paid by the NATO, our NATO allies.
It's a loan. No, it's okay. It's just a loan. Well, we're not going to get paid back. Well, it's fine. It's all fine. This is the current state of the people trying to be your next president, trying to be your next nominee for president. It is wild to watch it. They are so out of touch that out of touch doesn't describe it. It kills me. It shows you how far rotted we are as a late stage republic. And you know what? I think I would rather send more money to Ukraine than watch these politicians make jokes. And before I go to the attempt at jokes, there's something about being funny, a sense of humor. Some people have it, and some people do not. And if you're one of those people who doesn't have it, you should know that a lot of this is just God-given, right? Some people are just funny, and they get jokes, and they make jokes, and they have good timing, and some people are not. And that doesn't make you a bad person or a stupid person or anything like that, but it does mean this. There's this old saying, know thyself, know thyself. If you're somebody who's not great at jokes, don't make jokes. So if you're Chris Christie, and you're prepping some one-liners, some big scary ones for Donald Trump at the debate, don't do this.
And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
It's really bad. But all of that paled in comparison to Fox News partnering with Univision, left-wing rag Univision, for the debate. And of course, because they partnered with Univision for the debate, they had to bring out this lady, Ilia Calderon, and she got, well, I mean, these were the questions asked at the Republican debate.
Mental health concerns are not unique to the United States, but gun violence is. The Department of Homeland Security warns that violence against LGBTQ+ people is on the rise and intensifying. According to a recent study, members of that community are 9 times more likely to be victims of violent hate crimes. As president, how would you protect this community from violent attacks and discrimination? Florida's new Black History curriculum says, quote, slaves develop skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. You have said slaves develop skills in spite of slavery, not because of it. But many are still hurt. For descendants of slaves, this is personal. What is your message to them?
So first of all, that's a hoax that was perpetrated by Kamala Harris.
This is why the communists have won to this point and why we have lost. This is exactly why. This is why they've taken over every cultural institution, and we whine about hypocrisy every day. Because we will have a debate with our candidates on the stage, ready to present them in the most appealing light to the American people in the interest of winning an election. And Republicans will actually take somebody who's entirely hostile to these candidates and their views and bring this person in and put them on the forefront and allow this person to interrogate candidates in a way that will make them look bad on national television. You would never see a Democrat do that in a million years. In a million years. They wouldn't. It would be like Democrat. I want you to picture this moment. I want you to picture Joe Biden drops out, and now there's a big Democrat debate for president, and Gavin Newsom's running against Dome, and she's running against Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders gets in there. And I want you to picture there's a big debate on NBC, and they announce they're partnering with the First TV, and they're bringing in me, Jesse Kelly, to ask all the Democrat candidates a question on the stage. It would be that ridiculous to bring in that hag. But of course, peak GOP.